guys! For my learning, teaching, interaction outline this week, I just chose a question from each lesson that and I like that format because it helps me to focus my thoughts a little more. And so I'll just talk about each lesson based on one of the questions that my thoughts were kind of centered around. So from lesson 7, the question that stood out to me is, in a nutshell, what's your plan for assessing your FLE program? And I'm not 100% sure if we do assess our programs. So maybe you can answer that question for me. But also I just wanted to discuss it with you guys because even if we're not, I just was interested to just share my thoughts, and then I would love to hear you guys' thoughts of how we could assess our programs, because that will only make it better, right? And so I wanted to bring up this question so I could hear how you guys thought would be, or what you guys thought would be an effective way to assess a blog, because it's, I don't know, a little trickier. We don't have as much communication with our audience per se, at least not face to face. So anyway, so there were three things that the reading mentioned when you're assessing an FLE program. So I'm just going to go over each of those and then kind of apply them to a blog, and then you guys can let me know what your thoughts are. So the first step was to establish a fit between audience needs and your program. And so we kind of did that by, we found our audience needs through, first of all, just talking to people, talking to friends about their marriages and thoughts that they had on what they would like to improve in their own marriages. And then also we took ideas and concepts and needs, I guess, from other classes that we've taken, other marriage and family classes, and research that we've done, books that we've read from those classes, and common needs that people have in marriage. So yeah, so we took all those needs and then created our lesson plans or our blog posts according to those needs that our audience members have. So that's how we kind of established that connection. And then second was gathering data about who your viewers are and what their characteristics are. And so for us, we've been sharing our blog posts through our personal Facebook pages. And so our viewers are mainly our personal friends and acquaintances. And so for us, we know that our readership is mainly women, most likely, who are married, and mostly probably between 20 to 30, probably a few in the 40, 50 age range, but we would assume probably around their 20s and 30s, and predominantly LDS. So that's kind of the main characteristics of our audience for our blog. But I guess you could also gather that data by just asking the people who view your blog, or I guess we could make a post on Facebook and say, if you read the blog, please just comment here saying you read it or something like that. Okay. Third is that the program participants and staff provide feedback on how to improve the program. And so once again, since we are doing ours through Facebook posts, we could post and ask our friends who've been reading the blog to provide us that feedback, let us know what they've thought, how they've been able to apply the things we've taught, what else they'd like to see, what they would like to see improved. So Facebook has really been our main outlet for this blog, and so I think that would be the best way to do our assessment, is just continue it through there, since that's where we've gained our readership. But I would love to hear any other ideas that you guys had on that. I was kind of interested by that. So yeah, so moving along to lesson 8, the question that really stood out to me was basically the difference between aspiration ethics and mandatory ethics. And so the aspiration ethics is really, as it says, just principles you're aspiring to live by. And whereas the mandatory ethics, as it said in the question, tend to be more specific. Okay, sorry. It says which tends to merely specific a code of moral conduct. Anyway, so they're like very just a set code of principles, like rules not to be broken, right? And so I feel like the the mandatory ethics are not very personal. They don't really invite you to make changes in yourself and become a better person. It's more of just a set of rules that you don't want to break because you don't want to get in trouble, right? But the aspiration ethics really invite you to change yourself and to become a better person. And I really feel like it's moving those ethics from your head, no, just knowing, okay, I have to follow these rules, into your heart, saying, I want to be an ethical person and I want to become the best person that I can be. And by doing so, I will be better able to be a more ethical family and life educator. So, yeah, okay. And then also one last thought on that, it kind of reminded me of like the law of Moses and how Christ had to ask the people to live the law of Moses, which was very specific. It was just a specific set of, here are the rules you have to follow until they learned to be obedient. And then once they learned how to follow those rules and be obedient, then he said, okay, you don't need to live the law of Moses anymore. Now I want you to live the higher law, which is basically just to become like Christ, right? And so he wasn't like, I don't know, I feel like that's what we're being invited to do when we live the aspiration ethics. We have the freedom to choose to live them or not, but ultimately we're striving to become our best selves. So there's my thoughts on that. Sorry, my timer turned off. Okay. All right, so from lesson 9, moving forward, the one thing that really stuck to me that I liked was it asked, what are your role and responsibilities in working with families as an FLE? If you had to choose 3 words that best describe the role of family life educators, what would they be? And so I like, not acronyms, but I can't think of the word, things that sound good, are easy to remember. So I chose the words engage, educate, and empower. And the first, engage, is I just feel like it's really important that you are engaging with the families who you're working with, that you're not just up there being the educator, just presenting or talking at them, but that you're really getting to know the families, getting to know their needs, trying to connect with them, because that's how you're really going to be able to help them. And I know we're not supposed to be therapists, and you don't have to do that to make a friendship with someone or to engage with them. But if you're just up there talking to them and don't act interested or compassionate, then they're not going to listen to what you have to say. And so I think that it's very important to be engaging and keep their attention and have them feel like you really are trying to help them and meet their personal needs. And once again, I know it's hard to not draw the line or not cross the line between being a therapist, but I hope you can get what I'm saying, that it's important to engage. Okay, next step. I'm sorry, I'm just on the end of my time, so I'll just quickly finish up. Educate is the second. Obviously, we know from that huge article we read that the most important thing we're doing as educators is to educate. So we need to make sure we're doing that, sharing valuable information to them. And lastly, empower. We want them to be able to go out of our classes or our workshops that we're doing, or our blog posts, and be better people, be able to apply the principles they've learned and truly strengthen their marriages and families. And I believe as we engage them, as we're educating them, that we will empower them. Sorry, guys, that's a lot of ease. But we truly want them to be able to learn from us and then to take action and be better, because what's the point if they're not, or if we're not empowering them? So anyway, those are my thoughts this week. Can't wait to hear yours. Thanks, guys. See ya.